Hello, fictional. Welcome to the What If Issei. Today we are gonna see, what if Issei was the King of Purgatory? Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. The soul. The embodiment of God's desire for humanity. The symbol of free will, free thought. In the beginning, God created the world and made the skies, seas, and land. Shortly afterward, he made humans and animals. Within the humans, he gave them each a soul. Free will, however, comes with a price. Adam and Eve, the first humans, disobeyed the orders given by God as they could with their free will. This is known as the story of Adam and Eve to humanity and represented a change in the thinking of God. God attempted to alter the soul, giving him control of humanity, by that time which had multiplied exponentially. However, with the fall of Lucifer with a third of heaven's population, as well as the fall of Azazel and his group of angels, God had other things to deal with. So God quickly created a realm known as Purgatory, a place to keep the souls of dead angels, fallen angels, and devils, before focusing on eliminating the devils and fallen angels. As such, God delegated the role of protector of Purgatory to Metatron, who acted as God's voice to the lower-level angels. God never told Metatron of this enormous responsibility. God feared that if Metatron knew of the power he possessed, he too would fall from heaven as did Lucifer and Azazel. The only one that God told of Purgatory was God's first son Michael. God soon declared war on the devils and fallen angels afterward, and the struggle between the three factions became known as the Great War. Hostilities started mounting on all sides, and Purgatory quickly filled up in population. God anticipated that the war would end soon and started planning on how to punish the devils and fallen angels' souls in Purgatory, but the war would soon claim his life. With God, the four original Satans, and numerous leaders in the fallen angels dead, an uneasy truce between the three factions ensued. Metatron, the protector of Purgatory, survived the war and helped lead heaven after God's death under the leadership of Michael. Michael turned most of his attention on rebuilding heaven, but remembered to keep a close eye on Metatron, as God had instructed him shortly before his death. Metatron was an eccentric angel to say the least. Metatron pretended to be a ninja, much to the displeasure of top-level angels, especially Michael. Michael was displeased as this made Metatron's movements untraceable, and Metatron would disappear for years at a time, without telling anyone where he was or what he was doing. Michael eventually let Metatron do his own thing, as Michael was confident in Metatron's ability to survive on his own. Michael is concerned with Metatron's survival as God mentioned a fail-safe, should Metatron die. God never told what the fail-safe was, and Michael was left trying to figure out the fail-safe. Michael eventually managed to tell Metatron to visit every few months, a radical departure from disappearing for years at a time. And so, the story begins on a stormy night, 17 years ago. Oceans near Okinawa. April 12, 1996. Metatron, you can't run from me. The Banshee's voice echoed through the storm. There are two figures flying over the Pacific Ocean near Okinawa, which is currently experiencing a typhoon. As such, the seas are very rough, the rain extremely heavy, and the winds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour. Even so, there are two figures over the seas, one giving chase to the other. Penemu, stay away from me. The Seraph Metatron shouted at Penemu as he flew away from her. Penemu, the only female cadre-level fallen angel, grinned as she heard these words. The black-haired busty beauty of a fallen angel readied 10,000 light spears and launched all of them at Metatron, who is still in a ninja outfit. Ah. Metatron said as he saw the light spears and turned sharply to avoid the light spears. So, you want to fight Penemu, you've got one now. Metatron said as the light spears crashed into the ocean. Metatron created thousands of light spears and Penemu did the same. The spears launched at each other, hit each other, causing a brilliant flash of light and a deafening sound. The two continued to throw light spears at each other as the storm around them intensified. Lightning crashed in the backdrop of this battle, which raged for over 30 minutes. It isn't every day that two 10-winged angels do battle with the intent of killing each other. Eventually, Penemu gained the upper hand, sending Metatron on the retreat. Penemu managed to grab Metatron by the throat and held him up. This is for Gadriel and Turil. Penemu shouted as she sent 3 light spears into Metatron's torso. Metatron yelled out in pain before laughing at Penemu. What's so funny? Penemu demanded. Look at your dress. Metatron said as he coughed and gagged. Penemu looked down and saw a light spear that ripped through her purple robe and pierced her stomach. I laced it with my special poison. Metatron said as he laughed. Metatron continued laughing as Penemu looked down in shock. Metatron's poison was very well known through the mythological world for its strength and potency, and there have been no recorded cases of fallen angels or devils surviving it once it is injected into their body. I'll see you in hell. Metatron joked with his final breath before succumbing to death. Metatron's lifeless body fell into the Pacific as Penemu started to wheeze violently. Penemu then started foaming at the mouth as her wings went up in flames. Soon after, Penemu's body joined Metatron's body in the Pacific. Both of their bodies were never found, but Michael knew that Metatron had died. It is said that when Michael found out about Metatron's death, Michael remarked, "Let's see what fail-safe you had in mind, father." 17 years later. Issei Hyoudou is for all intensive purposes a normal boy who grew up in Japan. He had a normal life, an unremarkable family, and a normal childhood. He played sports growing up, watched cartoons, and made friends. You know, normal child stuff. However, Issei had a problem throughout his childhood. He would often have massive migraines that came out of nowhere. These migraines would leave him hospitalized for days, and no one knew what caused it. Doctors tried to find a cause for it, but their search was in vain. However, when Issei turned 10, the migraines went away. No one knew why, but no one cared as Issei was cured of those debilitating migraines. Eventually, Issei went into high school like most other teenagers. He went to Kuo Academy and became friends with boys by the name of Mitsuda and Motohama. Both were notorious perverts at Kuo Academy, a school that was predominantly female, owing to the school's many years as an all-girls school. Issei, however, didn't often indulge in their activities with his friends. Issei mainly kept to himself, played video games and watched, shall we say, inappropriate videos. Issei, like many boys his age, often dreamed about his first date and kiss. The moment that every boy dreams about occurred 5 days ago. "Would you go out with me?" the girl, Yuma Amano, asked Issei as he went home after school. "Of course, Yuma-chan," Issei said happily. "How's Friday?" Yuma asked shyly. "Very good," Issei shouted happily. "Great. See you then, Issei," she shouted as she turned around and left. Now, this would all be great, but the girl Yuma Amano was in reality a fallen angel by the name of Rainer. She was supposed to watch him only, but she got other ideas and tried to murder him. "Issei, can I ask you to do something for me?" Yuma asked Issei at the end of their date. "Of course, Yuma-chan," Issei said as Yuma smiled. Yuma leaned in and whispered into Issei's ear. "Will you die for me?" she whispered in his ear. "I must have heard that wrong," Issei thought. "Ah no, Yuma-chan, can you please repeat that?" Issei asked. "Sure," Yuma said as her date outfit was ripped apart as black wings sprouted from her back. Her outfit was replaced by a S&M outfit, an outfit that barely covers anything. "Will you die for me?" she said as she materialized a light spear in her right hand. Issei, frozen due to shock, helplessly looked on as Yuma threw the spear at him. "No. I'm going to die a virgin," he thought in his head. "No, you're not." A male voice echoed in his head as a tremendous flash of light appeared in front of Issei. An enormous amount of power was released as a beam of light shot into space. Grigori headquarters. Such a tremendous amount of aura. Azazel remarked, looking out of the ornate window in his office at Grigori headquarters. The underworld. What unbelievable power. Serziches and Serafo remarked at the same time in their respective chambers at the Satan's palace in Lilith. Heaven. So, it has been revealed. Michael said, smiling as he felt the power. It was unmistakable to him. This was the power that his brother, Metatron, once possessed. Michael pressed a button underneath his desk and soon after, 2 angelic magical circles appeared in his office. "You called for us, Michael-sama." The Seraphs Raphael and Uriel asked their lord and brother. "Yes. Go to the location of that power surge and secure the source," Michael said to the 2 Seraphs. "Yes, Michael-sama." They shouted in unison as a magical circle took both of them away. Back with Issei. Rainer shielded her eyes from the immense brightness of the blast. When she lowered her hands, she saw a sight she couldn't believe. There he was, Issei Hyoudou blocking the light spear with one finger, an evil smirk on his face. "Ah, it has been so long since I've had a mortal body," Issei said in a deep, sadistic voice. Issei stared at Rainer, who looked at him dumbfounded. "So you are the one to thank for my release, fallen angel. I'd suppose I should thank you, but I haven't killed anything in some time, so I'll kill you now," Issei said as his eyes turned pitch black. "Don't make me laugh. A human can't kill me," Rainer said haughtily. She materialized another spear, which she chuckled at Issei, who simply smiled. "Do they give these out to kids now?" Issei said disgustedly, catching the light spear in his hand before snapping it in half like a twig. Now, I'll give you one more chance to kill me. That is the least I can do for freeing me from that place," Issei said, goading on Rainer. "Die already," she shouted, creating 2 light spears which she chuckled at Issei. Issei caught one light spear and parried the other one with the first. "Game over, fallen angel," Issei said as Rainer's wings and arms became pinned to the ground by dozens of light spears. Rainer screamed out in pain as she was forced to the ground on her back. This is all I can do. I've gotten weaker. Issei remarked to himself. Now, Yum is the name right? Issei said as he walked up to the pinned Rainer. Issei, don't kill me please. Rainer shouted out at Issei, who kneeled down to get a closer look on her face. So, that's the kid's name. Issei said, running his right hand on Rainer's face before giving her a violent backhanded slap. So Rainer, would you come after my host? Nothing that I'm complaining of anything. Issei asked Rainer, who gritted her teeth in response. Like I'd tell you anything, monster. Rainer shouted at Issei, who stood back up. Takes a monster to know one. Since you don't want to talk, I have other ways of getting the information. Issei said as he bent over to put a hand on Rainer's forehead. Rainer shook her head, squirming until Issei pinned her down by the throat with his left hand and touched her forehead with the right hand. I see, Azazel A. Issei said, standing back up. How do you know about Azazel-sama? Rainer asked at Issei, who simply smirked at her. Wouldn't you like to know? I know many things, child. Issei said hatefully. Who are you? Rainer asked fearfully. I go by many names. Halel, Venus, Morningstar. But you may know me as Lucifer. Lucifer said, smiling at the fallen angel, who was absolutely terrified. Impossible. Rainer said, trying to break free from Lucifer's crushing grip. Oh, is it? Ye of little faith. Lucifer said, standing back to his full height before stomping on Rainer's torso with his right foot. Well, it's been nice to chat, but I should be going now. Lucifer said as Rainer's eyes started to bleed. No. What is happening to me? She shouted in absolute agony. You're dying from the inside out. Lucifer said as he took his foot off Rainer, who was screaming now. First, you'll die from the shock due to the pain, so it should be over in about 10 seconds. Lucifer said as he stared at Rainer, who was screaming at the top of her lungs in writhing pain. 10 seconds passed before Rainer's screams stopped. Ah, what a beautiful world. Lucifer said before his body started to tremble. You can't bring me back inside, old man. Lucifer shouted out loud. Lucifer struggled to regain control of his muscles, which are violently twitching. Lucifer then fainted, leaving Issei's body lying on the cold hard park ground. Less than 5 seconds later, light appeared in the park, piercing the darkness around it. So this is what brother wanted us to retrieve. A male voice said as 2 magical circles materialized near Issei's body. Of course, brother. Another male voice said. One male was a tall male with flowing brown hair and the other male was a short male with messy black hair. Both are wearing white robes and possess white halos above their heads. The most noticeable feature, however, was that the figures each possessed 10 pearl white wings protruding from their backs. I hope we are not too late. The first male said, walking up to Issei's body. He isn't dead, Raphael. His aura is still present. Uriel said to Raphael, who picked up Issei's unconscious body. You're heavy, aren't you? Raphael smirked as he carried Issei like he was a child. Raphael, you feel the devil watching us? Uriel asked his brother. Yes, the one in the trees. Raphael said. Yep. What should do? Uriel asked. We don't have any orders to kill tonight, so we should let it leave. Raphael said. Let me have some fun though. Uriel said with a smirk, turning his back towards the direction of the devil, who was hiding in the trees. Devil. You have 5 seconds before the tree you are in goes up in flames. Uriel shouted in that direction. 5. Uriel said, holding up 5 fingers in his right hand. 4. Lowering 1 finger. 3. Lowering another finger. 2. Lowering yet another. 1. Lowering the remaining pinky. The tree combusted, but a small white-haired girl was observed jumping of the tree moments before Uriel set the tree on fire with his famous holy flames. Brother. Let's bring the Keeper of Purgatory to heaven. We can't keep Michael waiting. Raphael remarked as a magical circle underneath him and Uriel teleported them back to heaven in a brilliant flash of light. Where am I? I, Issei Hyoudou, asked myself as I opened my eyes. This isn't Kuo. I blinked my eyes to adjust them to the surroundings. Trees. Lots of trees. I get up off the ground and stand up. I'm still wearing the clothes that I wore when I had my date with Yuma-chan. Yuma-chan. Wait, didn't she try to kill me? Am I dead now? Am I in hell? I've been a bit of a pervert, but that doesn't mean I should go to hell. Alright, Issei, calm down. First, where are you? I appear to be in some type of woods. There are no woods anywhere near Kuo or anywhere near my area of Japan for that matter. The temperature feels warm, so I must be in a tropical area. Yeah, that's it. I'm in some type of tropical area and not hell. Okay, I'll try to find my way out of here, get some help and go back to Japan. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Alright, let's see if I can see the sun. Nope. The trees obscure the sky from my view. The sky appears a faint purple. What? Alright, since I don't have that benchmark guiding me, I'll just start walking. I started walking in a straight line over the bumpy dirty road in front of me. There are many plants lying near the ground, low-hanging berries of numerous colors hanging from the trees overhead. I could reach for berries, but I'm not that hungry right now, and I know better than to eat something that is unknown to me. Alright, I think I've been walking in a circle right now. This looks just like the place that I awoke from. I checked my watch. 5:42 p.m. Growl. I turned around as I heard a low-pitched growling sound. That doesn't sound good. I scanned the wooded environment, looking for the origin of the sound. I could hear something running towards me, given the sounds of crushed leaves and cracked branches. A black animal soon popped out from the woods in front of me. A black boar. A very large black boar. It is growling at me. Alright, Issei, slowly back up. No sudden movements or else it will charge at me and make it its dinner. I slowly backed up, staring at the boar as I moved backwards. Crap. I tripped backwards and the thing started charging at me. I'm dead. I closed my eyes and waited for the end. I don't want my last sight to be a charging boar spearing me with its tusk. What? Am I still alive? I heard a squeal in front of me. I first felt my entire body, looking for any cuts or stabs from the boar. None. Alright, good. Time to open my eyes. I see a figure with his back turned to me. I see the pig, a spear stuck into its head. The pig is bleeding a lot from its head. I turned my head away as I don't like to see any death. I turned back to see the figure turn around to me, carrying the boar on his shoulder and a spear in his left hand. I can see that the man is a foreigner, an old one at that. He looks to be about 60 or so years old. He has a full white beard, white hair bangs covering his eyes, and his face shows the signs of his age. His eyes, such powerful blue eyes that are staring right at me. He is wearing a torn up white toga and sandals. Where am I? I asked the man. He looked confused for a second, but then started to move his mouth. You're here, son. The man replied in Japanese. Where exactly is here? Where is here? I asked the old man as I heard thunder in the sky. No time to say. Come, follow me if you want shelter. The old man said as he turned around and sprinted into the forest. How is such an old man so fast? I ran after him, keeping him in my sights. I think we ran about 400 meters or so as we reached the base of a mountain. Rain started to come down, heavy, soaking me from head to toe. The old man went into an opening in the mountain that has a boulder lying near the entrance. Son, help me move this boulder. The old man said, re-emerging from inside the cave without the spear or the boar. I nodded and helped push the boulder in front of the entrance, leaving a little room so that the old man and I could go inside. It is very dark inside the cave as the old man guided me through the dark cave. I see nothing as the man forced me to sit down. I then hear objects being grinded together, creating sparks that let me briefly see in the darkness before a fire was started in front of us. Who are you? I asked the old man. The old man stared down at the ground for a long time before looking up at me. It has been a long time since someone asked me that. My name is Cain. He said. Cain, what an interesting name. Who are you, my son? He questioned me. My name is Issei Hyoudou. I said back to him. Nice to meet you, Issei. He said as he got up and went to get the boar to put over the fire. Say, where are we? I asked the old man as his face became visible again in the darkness. We are in purgatory. Wait, what? What? This is purgatory. I shouted back at the old man. Indeed, young one. The power you possessed in life prevented you from going to hell. He said back kindly as I stared at him. What are you talking about? Hell doesn't exist. He just stared at me as I looked at him. Son, do you believe in God? He asked me. Why would you want to know that? Not really. I'm sure there is one out there, but I don't believe in him. I said back. Son, he is real. He created everything. You, me, this place. This, prison. The old man said as his voice trailed off. Did I say something bad? So tell me, son. How did you die? The old man asked as he stared intently at me. I was killed by my girlfriend. She had black wings and killed me with a spear that appeared out of nowhere. I said this as the man became interested. Oh. Tell me, did the spear look like it was made out of pure light? How did he know? Yes. Now that you mention it, it was made out of light. I said to him. Ah, you were killed by a fallen angel. Fallen what? A fallen angel. I stuttered out. Yes, a fallen angel. You know the story of Lucifer and Satan, right? He asked me as I nodded. Good. So you know that Lucifer fell from heaven with a third of heaven's followers. These followers became devils. He said. Devils, there isn't just one. Devils. There's more than just one? I asked him. Yes. Devil isn't the name of one being. It is the name of a species, just like human or dog. He said before continuing on with his interesting story. Shortly afterward, another angel named Azazel fell with some more angels, and they became known as fallen angels. They fell due to their lust, greed, or other human vice, but still retained their light-based abilities given to them by God. He said as I nodded. So, you have been killed by one of these fallen angels. The question is why? He said to me with questioning eyes. I don't know why she would kill me. I'm just an average person. I shouted at him. Or so you think. The fallen angels wouldn't just go around killing people for the fun of it, otherwise they'd provoke Michael into action. He said as I heard the name Michael. Michael? Who's that? I asked him. He stared back at me with a puzzled look. Ah, so you don't know. Tell me, can you keep a secret? He said to me. Of course. I replied. Okay then, I'll tell you what happened. There are a big war, between the devils, the fallen angels, and the angels, many years ago. God and the 4 original Satans, yes there are 4 Satans, died in the war. Of course, no one except for Michael and a select few know of this. He said to me. Why? I asked him. Imagine a world without God. Can you imagine what would happen? The lawlessness, the chaos. Religion is what keeps people from killing each other on the streets every day. It was in heaven's best interest to keep God's death a secret. He said as I thought about something. How do you know all of this? I asked as he looked me in the eyes. Do you know who I am? I am Cain, son of Adam and Eve. He's a murderer. Calm down, young one. I do not wish to harm you. All the time in this place has given me time to reflect on what I did to my brother Abel. I was rash and arrogant back then. I've had time to reflect. He said looking back at me. But still, how do you know of such things? I asked him. God and the Satans are here, young Issei. They are in purgatory with us. He said to me as I recoiled in shock. Don't people just die and never return? I asked as he chuckled. No young one. Everyone, no matter what they are, goes somewhere in their afterlife. The righteous go to heaven, the damned go to hell. Everyone else comes here. He said as I became confused. Everyone else? I asked him. I should have put it better. Good people and beings go to heaven, bad people and beings go to hell. But there are many that simply can't go to hell or heaven. They are just too powerful. Monsters and gods don't go to heaven, they go here. God's storage closet. He said. Gods? There is more than one god. I asked. Yes, of course. Mythological gods are real. Zeus, Hades. All are real as you and me. Now imagine a Greek god going to heaven. Isn't that a bit of a problem? He said as I pondered his words. It is indeed a problem. Indeed. So why are you here? I asked him as he shook his head. That's the thing. I was around since the being, so I expected to go to hell, which was originally a second world that God had made, just in case if he was displeased with Earth. Anyway, I roamed the Earth before coming here all of these millennia ago. I guess heaven didn't want me and heaven couldn't take me. He said with a chuckle. So, what exactly do you do here? I asked him, thinking about what could possibly be used to pass the time in this place. Survive by hunting animals and avoiding them. He said as I raised my eyebrows. Them? I questioned him. Ah yes, I forgot to tell you. God and the Satans are both in purgatory, so naturally there would be conflict. The battle lines here are much more fractured though. Everyone is carving up purgatory's territory. There is fallen angel territory, devil territory, Greek territory, Aztec territory. You name it, they're here. The place we are in though, it is a no man's land. No one wants it lest they risk provoking the other factions into a full-scale war. He said as I nodded. Whose side are you on? I asked him as I stared up at me with an amused expression. No one's. Slave under them and risk letting them take your soul. No thanks. He spoke out as the boar started to char. Take your soul? I asked. There are many things you will learn, young one. You need not know of this right now. Come, let us eat. He said to me as he took the boar off the fire with a sharpened stick. Issei. I heard a male voice shout out to me. I looked at Cain, who looks just as confused as me. Issei, your time is not now. Come back to the world. The voice said as I felt lighter. I looked down at my body, which was glowing and disappearing. Cain stood up and stared at me. A little help here. It looks like your time is not yet, young Issei. I believe we will meet each other again in the near future. Cain said as light overcame my eyes. Issei, wake up. The male voice said to me as I felt a nudge on my shoulder. I opened my eyes to a white room. I'm in a completely white room surrounding by many people with white wings. Wait, wings angels. I'm sitting in a chair at the long end of a table and there is someone sitting opposite of me. A foreign man with blonde hair and green eyes and wearing an impressive shoulder plate. My name is Michael, and we have much to discuss, Issei. Michael, the one Cain was telling me about. Do not be alarmed, Issei. I do not wish to harm you. Michael said as angels stood next to Michael's grand white chair. Oh. There is a woman there with huge eye next to him. Issei, you are in heaven now, and you will stay here as you fulfill your destiny. Michael said to me, folding his hands in front of him. My destiny? I asked Michael. Yes, you are the King of Purgatory. He said to me. King me? Cain just told me I was in purgatory, not the king of it. I know this might be shocking to you, but let me explain. Michael said as he put his hand up. No need, I already know. I said, causing the angels next to him to raise their eyebrows. Michael himself didn't show any reaction when I said this. Tell me, what do you know? Michael asked of me. There was a war long ago between devils, fallen angels, and you angels. In the war, God and the 4 original Satans died. I said as Michael stared at me before nodding his head. It is true, father perished during the Great War. Tell me, Issei, how do you know of this? Michael asked me. Cain told me. I said as the angels gasped. Don't listen to the liar, Cain. The blonde-haired woman with large breasts next to Michael shouted out. Silence, Gabriel. Michael said, raising his voice and turning his head to the woman, whose name is Gabriel, I guess. Issei, what other information did Cain tell you? Michael said as he turned his head back to me. Cain told me of many factions in purgatory and of its many inhabitants. I said to Michael, who simply smiled as an handsome male angel rushed over to his side, whispering something to his ear. Good point. I almost forgot about that. Michael said, putting his hand on the angel's shoulder. Issei, this is Bartholomew. He is one of heaven's best magicians and is the only angel here who has gone to purgatory before. Michael said as I looked at Bartholomew. He was a figure rivaling Kiba's pretty boy charms. He looks to be an older version of Kiba, it is almost as if he was Kiba's older brother. Damn it. All pretty boys should just die. Bartholomew briefly bowed to me before whispering something else in Michael's ear. Michael nodded at whatever Bartholomew said. Issei, you are not only the king of purgatory, but the wielder of something else. Something powerful and beautiful. Michael said with a smile. I questioned his intentions as I started at the other angels in the room, who look very happy. What are you talking about? I asked. You are the wielder of the boosted gear. He said with a beaming smile. And? What is that? It seems you are confused. Gabriel, explain. Michael said as the woman with large breasts and blonde hair stepped forward. This will be a large explanation, so please bear with me. Gabriel said to me as I nodded. The boosted gear is a sacred gear, an object created by our Father and given to humans. The sacred gears were given to humans to perform miracles by the grace of our Father on earth, and the sacred gears fulfill this task in various capacities. Your sacred gear is part of a more exclusive group of sacred gears, called Longinus gears. These Longinus gears, numbering only 13, have the ability to kill gods or Satans once the potential of the wielder is fully realized. Gabriel finished. What? I am the king of purgatory and the wielder of this boosted gear. Also, adding on to what Gabriel already said, your boosted gear is quite powerful. It contains the soul of Drag, one of the 2 heavenly dragons. Michael said. The dragon is inside of me. Wait a minute. Wait, soul. I thought souls could only go to heaven, hell, or purgatory. I questioned Michael. That normally would be correct, but not in this case. You see, these 2 dragons rampaged throughout the world many years ago, and as punishment, we sealed the souls of the dragons into 2 sacred gears. The one you possess, and another one called the Divine Dividing, which contains the soul of Albion, the other heavenly dragon. Michael answered as I digested the information. Okay then, how do I use this sacred gear? I asked as Michael smiled. There is a time for that later, Issei, we have more pressing things to deal with. Michael said. Such as? I raised my eyebrows, and if on cue, Michael started to speak. Yes, we need you to do something first before we proceed. Michael said as I nodded. What is it? We need you to kill Lucifer. Michael said with the utmost seriousness. Okay, so you want me to kill the devil that is within purgatory, which is somehow inside of me. How exactly do you want me to accomplish this? Okay, and how do you propose I kill the devil? I sarcastically asked Michael. I will lend you some of my power so that you will go inside of purgatory. Then call on God and Lucifer to appear as you have the power to do so. Accept God and together you will banish Lucifer from the confines of purgatory forever. Michael said as he teleported next to my chair. Jesus Christ, that was fast. Stay calm, Issei. Michael said as he put his right palm on my temple. His hand. So cold. I just appeared in the middle of nowhere, inside of purgatory. Damn it, you could have given me a warning or something like that before zapping me to purgatory. I appear to be in a clearing somewhere in purgatory. A field of grass under a dark purple sky. Okay, calm down Issei and just do what he says. God. Lucifer. Come out. I commanded. I shouted up at the purple sky. And just like that, 2 columns of fire descended from the sky. One column appeared to the right of me, the other to the left. When the light from the fire pillars died down, I could see 4 figures on each side. On the right, there is a bearded man with a staff, a brown-haired man in a monk's outfit, a white-haired woman with long hair and a white dress, and a ninja. All of these people have angel wings appearing out of their backs, each having 10 pearl white wings, except the bearded man, who has 14 wings. On the other side, I see a handsome man with blonde hair and a medieval style of armor, a black-haired man with a thin beard who is wearing clothes of a Shinto priest, a woman with big breasts and red hair in a business suit, and the last member is a bald man without a shirt, showing his muscular upper body. Hey. Stop showing off your awesome body. I can feel the power coming from each one of these beings, their power is much greater than that of Michael. The woman with red hair is staring at me while licking her lips. God and Lucifer I presume? I asked jokingly. It is finally nice to meet with you Issei. The bearded man on the right said. God. As it is with you, God. I said back before turning my sight to the other group. Lucifer? Who is with you? I asked Lucifer. I honestly want to know. Asmodeus. Beelzebub. Leviathan. He said as a person stepped up when their name was called. Damn, Leviathan is a hot woman. Very nice. I said as I stared back at God's group. Metatron. Serial. Rigel. God said as the ninja, the woman, and the monk stepped forward in that order. Well, I assume you know why I am here. I asked as God and Lucifer nodded. Michael asked you to come here. To kill me. Issei, what do you want? Don't listen to Michael, join our side. We will give you anything you want. Michael said as Leviathan stepped to his side. Lucifer, you know you can't corrupt another pure child here. Issei, do the right thing. God said. Both compelling arguments. I think I've made my choice. God. I choose you. I said as I ran towards God, who has his arms open. I reject this. I heard Lucifer scream as I heard magical spells being casted. Metatron. God shouted as I neared him. Metatron ran past me, as did Rigel. I ran into God's arms and I felt his power being absorbed into body. It is tremendous, such power. I screamed as his power rushed through my very body. I turned around and Serial put her hands into my body. Her power was also absorbed by me. I screamed as I turned and faced the battle happening in front of me. Such power. Metatron and Rigel blocked Lucifer's, Asmodeus's, Leviathan's, and Beelzebub's attacks. I could barely focus as Serial's powers became my own. I focused my hands at Metatron and Rigel and began to absorb their powers. How am I doing this? I have no idea as their bodies turned into pure light which rushed at my fingertips. I felt wings sprout from my back. Such pain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no 8. 8 pairs of wings came out from my back. I felt blood trickling down my back, but the pain is now numb. I feel alive. You all shall be punished for your crimes committed against me. My judgment shall rain down upon you. I said. My mouth is moving by itself now, why would I be saying these things? My arms moved up, creating extreme winds as I saw millions of light spears next to me. How am I doing this? The ground froze with their feet and the light spears cut through all of their bodies. Asmodeus has a spear through his head, Beelzebub has 2 spears through his chest as does Lucifer. Leviathan's beautiful body was completely torn up by the light spears. I then saw 4 orbs of pure white traveling towards me. Souls. I prepared for them and welcomed them into my body when I came in contact with them. The power. It is too much. Arg. I awoke in the chair I was sitting in before. I opened my eyes and saw the worried looks of everyone in the room. I lifted my hands up and they moved faster than they did before. I stood up from my chair extremely fast. What? I flexed my arms and legs. Everything feels so new. So much stronger, so much faster. Is this a result of the souls of God and everyone else I've absorbed? Did you do it? Michael asked me. Yes I did. I told Michael with a smile. Michael sighed a breath of relief and everyone's face lit up with happiness. You are finally here. The Messiah. Michael said to me as everyone in the room went to a knee and bowed to me. Seriously, King of Purgatory, wielder of the boosted gear, and now Messiah. What is next? So, you're saying I'm God? I asked them. No, you are not God the Father, but you are now God of heaven. You are the one. The one to bring balance back to this world. The one to finish the war. Michael said. Okay then. I think I understand the difference. What do you want your name to be, Issei? Michael asked me, standing back up. Everyone else followed suit. What do you mean? I asked him. What do you want your name as God to be? He asked back. What's wrong with Issei? Why can't I just stick with Issei? I said as Michael shook his head. A god with the name Issei, no. Think of a name, any name. He said as I closed my eyes. And then it hit me. I have the perfect name. Emanuel. I said back to Michael, who smiled. Emanuel. God is with us. Why that name? He asked me. I had a friend once. He was my childhood friend who went to church every Sunday as his family was extremely religious. I occasionally went with him, so I picked up the name Emanuel from gospel songs that I sung. I see. Well, Emanuel, we need to start your training tomorrow. Michael said as he approached me with a smile. Training for what? What? I asked Michael. Your training. You need to learn to control the power of the souls you have, as well as learn to use the boosted gear within your body. Michael said to me with a smile. What about school and my family? I asked as Michael's expression turned said. Emanuel, how long do you think it has been since you awoke from the first time in purgatory? Michael asked me with a questioning expression. Less than an hour, why? I answered. Emanuel. Michael said as he put his hand on my right shoulder. This isn't good. It has been a week since you've awakened. Michael said as I looked at him like he was insane. How is that possible? I shouted at him. We do not know. Time appears to go on much slower in purgatory than on earth. Bartholomew stated that it felt like he was in purgatory for 40 years, while it has only been 4 months on earth. Michael said to me. So, what are you saying? I asked him. You are missing, Emanuel. You have been missing for a week. Everyone in Japan is looking for you. Michael said. I need to get back at tell everyone I'm fine. I said, thinking of my parents. You can't do that. What are you going to say? I've been to heaven and purgatory and am now the king of purgatory. The fallen angels who killed you will try again, and they might hurt your family. The devils have detected the power levels in Kuo and will easily find you. They will force you to their side with any means necessary measures. Do you see why you need to stay here? Michael said to me. I hated what he was saying, but I understand his point. So, everyone knows I am missing. What does everything think? Am I dead? I asked, thinking that me talking about myself being dead is rather humorous. There has been no official story as to your disappearance. Michael said to me. We need to change that. I said to Michael as I thought about what to do. Is it possible to erase the memories of me from the ones I knew? I asked Michael. Of course, Messiah Emanuel. As you wish. I sighed as Michael left to consult with other angels to start this process. I'm sorry everyone. I'm sorry Mom and Dad. Issei Hyoudou is no more. I am Emanuel. Is it morning? I opened my eyes and tried to move out of my new white bed that is in my room. God's room was the one Michael gave me. I sat up in bed, staring at my new room. It happened so fast. Just a week ago, I was just Issei Hyoudou, average kid in high school. Now, I am God. It still feels weird to call oneself God, but it is true in my instance. Apparently I am the new god of heaven, king of purgatory, and wielder of the boosted gear. My room, the one that used to belong to the previous god of heaven, is a beautiful room. All the walls are painted in a bright white color. Gold trimmings decorate the room, and there is a massive diamond chandelier right in the middle of the room. I see 2 elegant French-style windows to my right side, allowing some light to come into my already bright room. There are 2 doors in my room. One is the entrance to the room, the second is the door to the bathroom. The bathroom was beautiful from what Michael showed me yesterday. The bathroom is completely extravagant with an ornate white bathtub on one side and a large shower with fiberglass doors. The toilet is made out of pure white gold, which I didn't even know existed. The sink is made out of marble, just like the handles of the faucet and the tiles on the floor. Everything here is just so beautiful. Knock knock. Came the sound from the door. Come in. I said as the door opened, revealing Michael and Gabriel. Good morning, Messiah Emanuel. They both said in unison. It is still strange having people call me that. Good morning to you too. I said as I hopped out of bed in the pearl white pajamas that they gave me. Emanuel, shall we get you breakfast? Michael asked me. Sure. Yes, that would be fine. I said as Michael snapped his fingers. Wow. How did he do that? Right in front of me is a complete traditional Japanese-style breakfast. It seems wonderful. Thank God for this. I jokingly muttered under my breath as I dug into the food. So delicious. Do you want? I asked Michael and Gabriel, who both shook their heads. No thanks, Emanuel. We do not need food to sustain ourselves. Gabriel said as I put food down. Why would they ask me then? I don't need food either then. Emanuel, well, we don't need food to survive, we eat to blend into human society when we are on Earth. It also might be reassuring to you to have breakfast. Michael said. Is he reading my mind? I see. Okay then. What is the agenda for today? I asked them. Michael told me that as God, I have an agenda that I have to follow now. Yes, Emanuel. Today you will meet the Council of Seraphs, the organization of all the Seraphs in heaven. They know of what happened and they will see it now. Then, we will discuss your training schedule and then start training. Michael said to me. Okay then, sounds good. I said as I finished the last of my food. Okay, just give me a minute to change. I said as Michael and Gabriel left the room. I put on a white toga and sandals that they gave me and headed out the door. Okay, let's go. The walk to the council room was unremarkable. Since my room is right in the building where the council room is located, nothing will happen on the way there. The walk will only take 5 minutes. When I asked Michael why are we walking instead of him teleporting me there, he responded that he wanted me to see heaven's history. I assume he meant that he wanted me to look at the paintings on the walls. There are numerous paintings on stern-faced people and angels, as well as paintings of places on Earth. Raphael, Metatron, Gabriel, and Sariel were some of the angels who had paintings on the wall. Jerusalem and Rome were paintings on the wall, both were next to a painting of a figure whose face was stretched off from the painting. Who is this? I asked Michael. Michael stopped, as did Gabriel, and they stared at the painting before having a sad expression on their faces. That was Lucifer's painting. Michael said sadly. Ah, I see. Michael imprinted in me yesterday information about the history of heaven and the church, so I can see why he would be upset at his brother's betrayal. Ah, I know so many things now. My mind was spinning when he transferred all of that information into my mind with the touch of his hand. We continued along and made into the council room shortly after. There are 8 giant pearl seats along a giant circular table. I see 5 angels already seating down at the table. All of the angels stood up when they saw us walking into the room. Emanuel, may I introduce you to the Council of Seraphs, the guardians of heaven? Michael said as he gestured towards all the angels. Introduce yourselves to our new brother. Gabriel said as she took her seat at the table. Raphael. A tall male angel with black hair and brown eyes said briefly. Uriel. A stocky brown hair, blue-eyed male said. Sandalphon. A black mushroom haircut angel with glasses said. Braziel. A female angel with a short black hair bob cut. This angel has purple eyes and are staring at me when she said her name. Remiel. Another female angel with flowing red hair and red eyes said to me. There you have it, Emanuel. Michael said as he took his seat at the table. Everyone is staring at me intently. Should I be sitting too? I sat at the one remaining seat, the biggest seat at that. First order of business. This is the King of Purgatory, wielder of the boosted gear, and the Messiah. Michael proclaimed in his seat, which is next to me. Everyone in the room clapped for me. Now, the Messiah has to train to properly fulfill his roles as the Messiah, and you will all help him in that capacity. Michael said as he looked around the room before looking back at me. Uriel. Teach the Messiah about our angelic magic. But before you do that, train him in the basics of flight. Have to get the basics down first. Michael said to Uriel. Uriel nodded his head, and Michael then smiled. Sandalphon, teach him various forms of combat. Michael said to Sandalphon. He is asking the nerdy one to teach me how to defend myself. Sounds very reassuring. Remiel, teach him on the soul and its powers. Michael said to the woman, who in turn smiled at me. Dulio will teach you to use your boosted gear. Michael said as I looked around. Who's Dulio? I asked Michael, who looked shocked for a moment. Ah yes, you are unfamiliar with him. Dulio is one of the church's most powerful magic users, as he is the possessor of the Zenith Tempest, a longinus that can control the weather. He is extremely proficient in the use of it, so I thought it would be beneficial for a longinus user to teach another longinus user. Michael said. Okay, sounds good. Alright, when do we start training? I asked. Now. Michael said. Alright, Emanuel. As Brother Michael stated earlier, it is my task to teach you how to fly and create light spears before we move on to the advanced magic. Uriel said to me with a stern look on his face. Okay, let's get started. Teach me and I will try my best. First, open your wings from your back. Feel the wings in your body and push them out. Uriel said with a deep breath as 10 wings appeared from his back. Why do you have 10 wings? I asked him as he chuckled. You see, Emanuel, the stronger an angel is, the more wings he will have. Most lower angels have been 2 to 8 wings. We Seraphs have 10 wings, while Brother Michael has 12 wings as the leader of heaven. Uriel said as I nodded. Okay then, I'm ready for my wings. Inhale, exhale, exhale. I feel them in my body. Push them out. I opened my eyes as I felt my muscles tense before relaxing. How did I do? I asked Uriel, who is staring at me in shock. What? What is it? I turned around and I was stunned. 16 pearl white wings. All appearing from my back. I take it I broke a record around here? I asked. You will be trained on the various arts of combat here. Armed and unarmed, light spear or no light spear, you understand me, Emanuel? He shouted at me. No need to shout. I understand. I shouted back at him since we are both shouting. Okay, first thing is first. An angel's primary weapon is their light spear. All angels know how to use light spears. To create a light spear, simply hold your hand out like this. Sandalphon said to me as he held out his right hand. I followed his lead and held out my hand exactly like he did. Now, release a bit of your power and it will manifest itself into the shape of a spear. Just imagine now. He said to me as he created a spear in his hand. I let power flow from my body to my hand and I feel a sensation forming. A mass of light slowly materializes into a light spear. Wow, did I do this? Good, make 10 more. He said as I dropped the one in my right hand. I held up both hands and let the power flow from my body to the hands. 2 spears were created. I dropped them and created more and more, creating more than 10 before Sandalphon stopped me. Alright, you have handheld light spears down. Let's see you make light arrows. Just let your power flow from your body to the surroundings. Sandalphon said. How many should I make? I asked Sandalphon. Make as many as you can. He said with a smile as I nodded. I let my power flow into the environment. I see hundreds of light spears appearing on all sides of me. It is working. Good. Let's see how your coordination is. To aim a light spear, simply focus on the direction you want it to go. For light spears, just throw them where you want to go. For arrows, you need to aim them though. Let's see if you can shoot an arrow straight into this target. Sandalphon said as he created a shooting dummy to the right of him. I fired an arrow at it and it worked. Again. He said. And I shot another one at it and it hit. And a third time. He said and so I did it again. Let's see if you can hit a moving target now. Sandalphon said as the target started to zigzag all around. I concentrated and shot all the light arrows at the moving target, following the target with my eyes. The light arrows hit the target head-on and destroyed it. You are a very fast learner. I am impressed. Emanuel, here you will learn about the soul. Emanuel said as she hit the blackboard with a ruler. As opposed to the training before, we are in a classroom as opposed to an open field. I have a notebook and sharpened pencil that was provided to me to take notes. They used magic to make the classroom appear like the ones I went to at Kuo Academy. That will not be necessary. God. I heard God's voice just now. I started at Emanuel, who is in the middle of a sentence. Did you hear that? I asked Emanuel, who stopped what she was going and looked at me. Hear what? She asked. My daughter cannot hear me. If you want her to hear me, calm your mind. God is telling me from inside my mind. Alright, here goes nothing. I closed my eyes and calmed my mind, thinking of nothing except light. Daughter. It is I. I heard God say again. This time, Emanuel looks at me stunned. Father, is that truly you? Emanuel shouted at me as she slammed her hands on my desk. Whoa, how did you get here so fast? Yes, it is I, daughter. I have the ability to communicate out loud if Issei chooses to do so. God said out loud. Now, please leave us, daughter. Issei and I have much to discuss. I will teach him about the soul and its powers. God said out loud as Emanuel had tears of joy in her eyes. Emanuel quickly left the room and so it was just me and God. Issei, you have much to learn. God told me. Okay, where should we get started then? I asked God. The soul. The soul was my first creation. I put it in everything from angels to dogs, all of creation has one. God said. I see. So what exact does it do for me as the King of Purgatory? I asked God. The soul contains the essence of a being. If you absorb their soul, you absorb their knowledge and their power. God told me. Amazing, simply amazing. So, the more souls you absorb the more powerful you become. I asked God. Yes. When I was in Purgatory, Lucifer and I waged war over souls. The one with the most souls becomes the most intelligent and also the most powerful. However, you must remember that even though you absorbed our souls, you have our abilities and thoughts, you don't have the proficiency to use them. God told me. I see. So is absorbing your soul and Lucifer's, among the others, why I feel a sharp increase in strength and speed. I asked God. Yes. However, when you absorbed my soul, Lucifer's and the others, you not only absorbed our souls, but the souls contained within us. The souls that we captured while we were in Purgatory. God told me. How many souls are there in Purgatory and how many do you have between your two groups? I asked. There are 100 billion of souls in purgatory. Out of all the factions, we have the most with about 90 billion. The person with the third most is the fallen angel Turiel. God told me. Is there any other use for the soul beside the increase in knowledge and power? I asked God. Yes. There are two more important uses for the soul. The soul can provide you with a dramatic but temporary increase in power. Also, the soul can be focused and converted into pure energy that can be used as a weapon. Both of these however come with permanent destruction of the soul and its knowledge. Amazing, the soul can do that much. Incredible. I said, in awe of what power the soul has. Issei, you are a young one, but in time will grow with strength. You will accept what I have to teach you. God asked me. Of course I will. So yeah, try to bring out your sacred gear or something. The lazy man, Dulio, I think his name was, told me as he was stuffing his face with stinky tofu. He said he got that from Taiwan. How did he get that so quickly? It was only a moment that we've been training and now he is eating. So, after my long talk with God, I am training with Dulio, wielder of the Zenith Tempest. Okay, how do I bring out my sacred gear? I asked Dulio, who is eating some more tofu. Is that really that good? Try to think of the strongest image you can think of. Just imagine that. Dulio said in between bits of food. Okay, I closed my eyes and thought of it. Sacred gear. I shouted out as I felt something materialize on my left arm. I opened my eyes and looked down, seeing a red gauntlet on the arm. Amazing, you've unlocked the boosted gear. God told me. Thanks for telling me the obvious. So, you've awakened me. I heard a male voice say from the gauntlet. And you are? It doesn't appear Dulio heard it. Where did Dulio go? Drag and drag. So it is you again. God said in my head. I don't think he can hear you. God, what are you doing here? Drag asked back. Oh, never mind. It is a bit complicated. You are Drag, right? My name is Emanuel, the King of Purgatory and the Messiah. I am also the wielder of boosted gear, which you are in. I told Drag in my head. I see. You are now the troublesome host of heaven. Well God, I suppose we will be hearing a lot of each other in the future. Drag said. There was no rebuttal from God, so I assume God was thinking of something witty to say back. I hate dragons so much. God said in my head. Clap clap clap. I turned around and you've talked to Father. May I speak with him? Michael asked as he got closer. Do you want to be heard, God? I asked God. Yes. Let me talk with my son. God said in my head. I calmed my mind and let God be heard. Michael, it is good to see you, my son. God said as Michael formed tears in his eyes. Patheri. Michael said before God cut him off. Wow, God is quite rudely. But then again, he is God. Michael, you have done well, my son. I shall talk to you later. Until then, my son. God stopped talking after that. So you came for Dulio, Michael? I asked Michael, who wiped tears from his eyes. No, Emanuel. I am here for you. There is something you must learn directly from me. Michael said as I nodded. What is it? I asked him. I'll show you. Michael said, offering up his hand. I grabbed his hand and we teleported to the opening of a church in the middle of the night. Where are we? I asked Michael. Japan. Near your hometown. I became surprised when Michael said that. Why exactly are we here? I asked Michael. You need to learn the most feared power that we angels possess. The four great seraphs and Father possessed it. The power to completely destroy beings with just a touch and in Father's case, a glance. This power is calling smiting. Michael said. Completely destroy something with a touch. I need to learn that. So what does that have to do with this church? I asked Michael. The fallen angel who attacked you was part of a group we've been tracking. Remnants of the group were traced back over here. We felt that you needed to get closure for your death and the best way to do that is to kill those responsible. Michael said. You read my mind. Don't worry. The entire area is protected by a Nachian barrier, so no other beings can come in or get out, whether they be angels, devils, fallen angels, or some other being. There will be no interference in this cleansing. Michael said as I smiled. Alright, let's get started then. I said as I approached the church's door. Emanuel, I will be right behind you. I will teach you of how to smite. Michael said as he pushed open the door, which went flying as a result. There were at least a dozen people dressed in priest attire, however I was most interested in the three fallen angel auras I feel. Michael told me how to feel them and as a result I can now feel 3 weak auras resonating from them. Who's there? The gruff male voice said. I am. Michael said, going in front of me by walking into the church. Lord, Michael. Many voices in the church shouted. I am the Archangel of Heaven, the one who holds my Father's commandments. You are the ones who fled from his holy love due to your lust and greed. You shall judge by our new Messiah. Michael said. Okay, guess it's my turn. I stepped forward and unleashed my power to the surroundings. Hundreds of light spears were created by me, and I launched them at everyone I could see. All of the priests were killed, but the 3 fallen angels weren't killed. No, the light spears that I aimed for them were deflected away from their bodies when they were close. How did that happen? The fallen angels are now bound by chains and are on their knees now. There is an attractive woman with black hair, a man wearing a trench coat, and a young girl wearing a gothic Lolita outfit. I did that, Emanuel. Let me show you how to smite. Michael said as he went forward. Shouldn't we make sure that there is no one else here? There are 2 other people. One of them was bound before we got here, and the second one has been bound by my magic. They are both in the basement, which is underneath the podium. I asked Michael as I followed behind him. Lord Michael, please have mercy on us. The 3 shouted as we approached them. I could see the fear in their eyes as we made our way to the altar. Your heart will judge whether you are fit for salvation. Michael said as he tilted up the head of the black-haired woman. Sister Calwerner, your sins have deemed you worthy for the judgment of death. Michael said as the woman started hysterically crying. Michael moved his hand so that his hand was covering the entire face. Watch carefully, Emanuel. Michael said as black wings from the woman suddenly appeared from her back. The face started to glow as the woman screamed. Bright fire then appeared from the eyes and mouth before ending as the woman's face and body turned into ash. Emanuel, you have to focus your holy energy on the sinner. When the holy energy meets the sinner's internal energy, the 2 cancel each other out violently, killing the sinner. Now, you try. Pick one. Michael said as I looked at the 2 quivering fallen angels. I picked the gothic Lolita girl as Michael picked the man. Her name is Middled. Michael said as he chanted before smiting the fallen angel. The moment I touched her, I felt it. Her darkness, the aura within her. All the crimes and atrocities she committed, I feel them flashing inside of my mind. She is going to die. No, Lord Emanuel. Don't kill me. I repent for my sins. Mitlet said. Lies. Lies. I feel no repentance within her. Mitlet, your sins deem you worthy for the judgment of death. I said as I did what Michael said too and focused my holy energy into her. Her wings forcefully came out and then turned white, as did her face as I channeled holy energy into her. She screamed as the white became brighter. I tried to look away, but I just could not, and so I stared as her body disintegrated into nothingness. Wow, that felt amazing. What are those orbs that are following among the ashes? Ah, they're souls. Michael, do you want them or should I take them? I asked Michael. Take them, Messiah Emanuel. Michael said as I nodded, absorbing the souls into my body. Ah, that feels good. Shouldn't we go check on the 2 in basement? I asked Michael. If you want to, Emanuel. He told me. Alright, what's the worst that could happen? I walked over to the podium and moved it out of the way, seeing a narrow staircase to the basement underneath it. I walked the stairs, the torches illuminating the way, even though I could see in the dark naturally as I'm an angel. We walked to the basement, where there is a beautiful girl chained on a crucifix and a priest tied up with ropes. The room was brightly lit with torches, so I could see everything clearly. Oh, who do we have here? 2 shitty angels. You are lucky that I am in binds, as I'll kill you and chop you up. The priest said as he struggled against his binds. Shut up. I said as I launched 3 light spears at him, killing him. There was something about him that utterly irks me. I couldn't put my finger on it, but he had to die nonetheless. What about her? I asked Michael, referring to the girl on the crucifix. She is fallen holy maiden Asia Argento. It's a rather unfortunate story, as she was a healing maiden that had to be thrown out of the church for healing a devil. Why did she need to be thrown out? I asked, although I had a general idea as to why. I couldn't maintain the system Father set up as well as he did, and there were some faults. One of them being a sacred gear that could heal devils, which Miss Argento had. If she wasn't kicked out of the church, people would have questioned if Father was still alive, as it was impossible to heal a devil otherwise. Michael said as I became speechless. Picking someone out because of your faulty system. Disgusting. That's why you kicked out a holy maiden from the church. To save your precious system. I said, teeming with rage. Now Emanuel, you must. Michael said before I cut him off. No, you must do something. Bring her back into the church. I said as Michael's face looked shocked. I can't do. He said. That's an order. Yes, Messiah. End of the here. So that's it for today's video, guys. Before you go, just like the video and share it with your friends. Bye.